very first hospital in West Lafayette and tack on a new cancer center in Lafayette. The IU Health Board of Directors recently approved a $214 million investment plan in the Greater Lafayette Community Growth Project. It includes building West Lafayette's first hospital within city limits and a 55,000 square foot cancer center in Lafayette at the Arnett Hospital campus. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
After those drenching showers Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening should be mostly dry with a low temperature around 71 degrees. Winds out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday will be cloudy with a few chances for some scattered showers. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Joanna Sutis for 93 WIBC.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Quality Supply and Tool, your premier supplier of construction equipment, tools, and supplies, is hiring CDL drivers. Call Brian Myers at 317-690-2016.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher, behind the microphone once again. Had a fantastic Independence Day celebration, set off some fireworks, blew some things up, did some grilling, but followed up quickly by what I think was an extremely disappointing turn for many, when now there seems to have been a 180-degree shift from the Trump administration, from the top down, that Jeffrey Epstein, no longer important, no evidence of blackmailing. Apparently he trafficked these more than 1,000 girls to absolutely nobody at all. And the thing is, producer Jack, I don't think reasonable people believe there's truly this total lack of evidence that the Department of Justice can pin down of a vast blackmailing scheme. The real question we now must ask ourselves is exactly how far, how deep does the deep state really go if it's even able to influence Donald Trump and people like Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi, who are now all changing their tune? It's really weird, really frightening, really disappointing stuff, producer Jack, to say the least. Peter Doocy confronted Caroline Leavitt about this seeming change of narrative that came from the Attorney General Pam Bondi, who not that long ago said, if you'll recall, that she had the Epstein list. It was on her desk. And now, well, she says it doesn't exist. Here's what Peter Doocy had to say.
Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars.
You do seriously surprise me.
Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that. I mean, I'd give it all I got.
Give you 110. You surprised me to how you are.
This is super important, Producer Jack. We can't let this go. This is the largest sexual abuse, sexual trafficking scandal that's ever unfolded in American history. The scale at which Jeffrey Epstein was trafficking these girls is not... It doesn't comport. It doesn't compute with a single person doing this for themselves alone. And with the networking that Jeffrey Epstein had, the time around the individuals and people of influence that he was in the orbit of, including folks like Prince Andrew and Donald Trump that we know about. Dozens of flights from former President Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express. And we're supposed to believe the narrative coming from the administration now that there's simply no evidence. Here was an interesting drop earlier this year from Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, who said that the Department of Justice, well, before they could release the footage of Epstein in the prison, at first they had to, edit that down a bit. And then now, wouldn't you know, the Department of Justice is just magically missing a minute from the video footage. I wonder how that happened.
There is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. It was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release. That's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him.
I don't believe it.
They're working to clean it up. Yes, I bet they are. Epstein didn't kill himself, and these Epstein files, well, they didn't delete themselves either, Producer Jack. If they existed in hard copy form, they were scrubbed from the Department of Justice. And you've got to wonder what was the content of these files that is so damning and disturbing that it would merit the President of the United States now engaging in what seems to be an open cover-up, where he's saying, you need to move on. This Jeffrey Epstein guy, what's it all about? Years of nothing. Dude, you made this a central feature of your campaign. We can't just move on now at the drop of the hat. It's not how it works.
U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the minute step?
Yeah, sure. If I could
I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time on it? Do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
Donald Trump's now calling the Epstein investigation a waste of time, calling inquiries thereof a waste of time. No, I think this is the perfect time to address this, Producer Jack, because promises were made and they're not being kept. This is the opposite of transparency when now the administration is doing an enormous amount of backpedaling. And of course, you heard the question from Peter Doocy about Pam Bondi's papers, the Epstein files that were supposed to be on her desk. And now she's having to backpedal and recontextualize what she meant by that, because obviously words don't have basic meaning anymore.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
I see nothing.
I know nothing.
And that's a very interesting question, Jack. Unfortunately, questions that have no answer. So we're left to speculate, what was the connection of Jeffrey Epstein potentially to intelligence assets? Was he an operative, or was he under the control of potentially the CIA or as others have speculated, Mossad? We don't know. Now the Attorney General is feigning ignorance and saying, oh, well, we'll provide clarity on that later, but they won't release the Epstein files. The video that they've released is missing a magic minute. I don't think that the administration is being honest here, and many people are incredibly disappointed by this, me included, because it doesn't matter which party or which politicians would potentially be engaging in this very disgusting behavior. They need to have accountability for their actions and for the scale of abuse that unfolded on Epstein Island. This is not something that you can just brush under the rug. And if there was nobody implicated, then why in the world was Ghislaine Maxwell imprisoned? No serious person believes that there was no evidence of blackmailing, was no evidence of others that were implicated in this vast scheme. And the only conclusion that's left is that somehow the administration is being complicit in this cover-up. And you hear how disappointed people like Alex Jones are by now the Trump administration appearing to participate in this cover-up. It's incredibly disheartening.
So now by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. And I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity. And I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country. And they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
We're finished. We're done. Game over, man. Game over. Oh, damn it.
Donald Trump was supposed to be the outsider. Donald Trump was supposed to shine a light on all this. Promises were made, and then now it's just a complete 180 from the campaign. And we need answers to these questions. Apparently, according to Alan Dershowitz, he knows some of the individuals that are implicated on this list that apparently doesn't exist. So either he's lying or the administration is lying. It's one or the other, one of those two things, because they both can't be true.
So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them. And that's wrong.
Dear God. There's more. No.
Okay, I think if you actually knew the names to these very powerful individuals that apparently participated in the largest sexual trafficking and pedophile scandal in United States history, then your moral prerogative to release those names exceeds your legal prerogative to protect a confidentiality agreement. This guy is 1 million years old. He's not defending his law firm anymore. If he really knows the names and he knows the dirt, then it's time to not just bloviate and bluster, but actually put up or shut up. Because if he really is sitting on those names, I'd also be watching my back and be a little concerned whether or not they were going to try and suicide me, just like Jeffrey Epstein. We know how that ended. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. We got a lot more to cover, ladies and gentlemen, including Indianapolis, which made very disappointing headline news last weekend. I'm sure you've already heard about the mass shooting. We'll talk more about that coming up next. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
What are we seeing right now on Capitol Hill? Everybody conforming, everybody standing together rather than people standing up for what's right. What did we see during the legislative session? All of these Republicans, nobody for the most part will stand up or be different or raise their voice or be heard, not doing the thing that brought them to the dance. They worry how it'll affect their power.
Kendall and Casey, weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling.
a familiar face in Indy.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling will pay you cash for your scrap metal. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling may seem familiar to you, and that's because they are. They're trusted local family-owned businesses going back 3 generations in Indy with their familiar orange logo and a name you know. But you may not know they'll pay you cash for your scrap metal. Cash is king. Your scrap aluminum, steel, copper, and brass will get you cash from Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Just drop it off or schedule a pickup, and you'll put cash in your pocket. Ray's Demolition and Farnsworth Metal Recycling. Local names you can trust with 2 locations.
Farnsworth Metal Recycling, a familiar face in Indy.
Get cash for your scrap. Get started at farnsworthmetals.com.
I've had my Window Nation windows installed for a couple of years now, and my air conditioner is no longer working overtime in the summer. These are the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, time for some new Window Nation windows. Check it out, 50% off all Windows styles plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. All the details at windownation.com.
And when Window Nation comes out to your house, they are bringing the best of the best. A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and their staff, years of experience. And look, when we have a heat wave like we had recently, I think you understand how important it is to have good windows that keep the blistering hot out and your perfect climate inside. 50% off all window styles. Any style at all, 0 interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning. Jim Scott is the owner, and he says they stand behind their work just like American Standard stands behind their equipment.
We give everybody a 3-year labor warranty, and then the manufacturer gives 10 years. So, yeah, people are pretty well set.
If you're in Clinton, Boone, or Hamilton County, call Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning. 765-601-1461. Jim's Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Indy Humane, committed to helping Central Indiana's pets in need since 1905. Find your new best friend today. IndyHumane.org.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIPC.
I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that?
During what should have been a night of celebrations, last Saturday at 1 o'clock in the morning, Indianapolis once again turned to violence right in the heart of downtown on the Mile Square, leaving 2 dead and 7 injured, more than 20 detained, and now 4 individuals charged, all of them teens. This is a symptom of a larger problem, Producer Jack, and we're going to dive into it a little bit in this segment. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ethan Hatcher, and this is Saturday Night on the Circle. Unfortunately, we have a lot of unruly teens running around downtown because of non-participatory parents and guardians in their lives that evidently don't care about these individuals and are leaving the hooligans to unleash mayhem on society, but that cannot stand. Something that was noted by Chris Bailey: as much as we support the Thin Blue Line and we support enforcing the law and police officers here in this city. It's not a problem that can be solved with police alone, especially when you're dealing with teens. You need to get the parents involved. And this, according to Chief Bailey, Chris Bailey, at a press conference after the shooting.
Is it going to take other city departments to step up?
See, we keep going back to what's the government going to do? What's the city going to do? The city's invested in this. Millions of dollars the city, taxpayers pay for police overtime to staff this 1 square mile area with, there was a couple hundred cops down here between state police and Capitol Police and IMPD and other police department agencies. Yes, we're going to keep doing our job. The city of Indianapolis, government, the police department is going to continue to do our job. We're not going to solve this. Not just by the police. We made 20 arrests tonight.
How did it come to this, America? How did your leaders allow the most powerful nation on earth to die? The answer is really quite simple. Incompetence. Incompetence at the highest echelons of power. We put our trust, our faith, in half-wits.
There were more than 100 police officers that were down in and around the Mile Square that evening. You heard Chief Bailey, more than 20 arrests were made that evening. That's law enforcement doing their job. It's the support that they're not receiving, both from parents and from the administration, including prosecutor, friend of the miscreant Ryan Mears, who refuses to prosecute violent crime and more often than not chooses to plead down even serious gun offenses, which lead individuals to be released in the rotating door of the criminal justice system to reoffend. We've seen it happen time and again, and it's time for parents to start having accountability for their children, particularly if they're going to be caught committing crimes in the downtown area. We need to tie these things to each other. And it begins, of course, with enforcing curfew once again. But we found ourselves in this situation before, Producer Jack, because the last time tragedy struck downtown Indianapolis and it was committed by teenage youths, this was the response from the mayor's office. Well, we're going to be enforcing the curfew violation, which was later stopped because, of course, you have Ryan, friend of the miscreant Mears, who refuses to prosecute the crimes. But this was the mayor's limp-wristed response.
But it is clear we must do more. So over the coming days, my office, along with IMPD, OPHS, and our community partners, will be taking steps to begin active enforcement of that curfew for our young people in our city's downtown.
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
Here's why they stopped enforcing curfew, though, Producer Jack, because IMPD wasn't receiving the support from the administration and the prosecutor's office. And we know this because no sooner was the announcement made from the mayor's office than Ryan, friend of the miscreant Mears, literally is sprinting as fast as he can possibly go to the nearest microphone to tell Hoosiers and citizens of Indianapolis that there's just simply very little he can do to prosecute this crime because, quote, there's not a standalone criminal charge that directly results from curfew violations, according to Mears. The law, but here's the thing, Producer Jack, what the law does allow is police to detain juveniles who are in violation of the curfew, and although that's not a crime, they can search them, they can do pat-downs, and if you discover drugs, if you discover firearms, guess what, Producer Jack? That is a crime. That can be prosecuted, and we expect action from the prosecutor's office that simply isn't going to happen because he's prioritizing this restorative justice approach in which you're not actually detaining criminals, you're not actually imprisoning criminals, you're not actually punishing them, you're releasing them, giving them these sweetheart deals. He's pleading down gun crimes and allowing individuals to re-offend. We have a case in point with a 19-year-old who was in the course of 48 hours arrested twice with firearms, including, I believe, automatic a machine gun. How do you get your hands on that?
Arrested a teenager twice in 2 days for making violent threats to harm others and possessing a machine gun. Earlier this month, police arrested 19-year-old Ajon Hall for flashing guns in a crowded area downtown. They found a handgun with a machine gun conversion device. The next day, Police released Hall, but not for long. Police say after being released, Hall was threatening people. Using license plate reader technology, police arrested Hall during a traffic stop. During this stop, police found another gun inside the vehicle with Hall.
I'm on my land. We're both in America, which used to be a good country, until they started letting people like you do whatever you want.
Now, after officers had responded to the reports of a 19-year-old Ajon Hall flashing firearms, they found him in a parking garage, but he had ditched the firearm before they were able to arrest him, threw it in between a couple of buildings. And so, according to the officers at the time, without being able to retrieve his backpack that he threw away, they didn't have enough probable cause to arrest him for long, and so they were only able to detain him on resisting law enforcement. And then by the time they got that backpack, he was already out, and then this time sending death threats to individuals, and they caught up to him in short order. But this is a case in point of a larger problem and something we've seen time and time again. So it's time, of course, for Hoosiers to demand accountability from the prosecutor's office, and also to demand accountability from these parents who are letting their hooligan children unleash mayhem on downtown Indianapolis. We need to tie them legally, liability speaking, to the actions of their minor children who they absolutely should be in control of. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday Night on the Circle. Another curious case from New Palestine, Indiana, where law enforcement individuals caught up with a name by Khalib Mangu. Interesting spelled last name. 23-year-old, and I bring this situation up because, of course, he's being referred to as a Greenfield man. A Greenfield man who is accused of groping a 14-year-old in line at the convenience store next to the McDonald's on US 52 there in New Palestine. Crazy, gross stuff. But when officers caught up to him in the bathroom at the McDonald's next door, he didn't comply with orders, according to reports, because he primarily spoke Swahili. Swahili, producer Jack. Now, I wonder how many native citizens of Greenfield, Indiana, primarily speak Swahili. It would seem to me, without knowing more details about this case, that we may have our own, quote, Maryland man situation. Remember how media referred to Kilmar Abrego Garcia as Maryland man, even though he was born in El Salvador, raised most of his life, and spent most of his life in El Salvador. But apparently now he becomes a native resident of Maryland. And it's curious how that works. I think we may be seeing something similar here because I don't know, again, too many Greenfield residents there that primarily speak Swahili, but a more case in point of the fallout from the disastrous Biden importation of illegal immigrants across the United States and the destruction that they've caused to local communities. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday Night on the Circle. The Sound Dump coming up next. Stay tuned.
Tony Katz.
I got an email from someone yesterday telling me that they like my midday show, but aside from my opening monologue and the popcorn moment, the morning show is nothing but a bag of hot wind and me, and I quote, playing grab ass with the traffic guy and the weather lady.
I was hoping that was true.
True story. Signed, David Wood, who is our program director. I was shocked.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000. For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris.
Texas!
Then it's off to Rome.
Georgia!
And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin.
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV, because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
News. I'm Jack Callahan. More than 170 people are still missing from the flash flooding that swept through central Texas last week. Texas Republican Congressman Pat Fallon telling Fox.
We lost over 100 souls. But what we need to also recognize is we saved 1,000 people. 1,000 people were saved because of the actions of the state.
Thunderstorms are once again in the forecast for central Texas. A new report exposes critical security lapses in the attempted assassination of Donald Trump 1 year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania.
This is coming out from a Senate report now saying that the Secret Service not only made big mistakes that day, but according to a report that just came out from Senator Chuck Grassley, he says that the Secret Service knew there was a threat to President Trump's life for 10 days and didn't take action or share that information.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. America is listening to Fox News.
It's summer in Indiana, and I'm betting the floors in your home are dirtier than the infield the day after the 500. I'm also guessing they probably appreciate a good cleaning. Hi, this is Denny Smith, and there is no better go-to resource for cleaning those floors than Zerorez. They can handle virtually every surface in your home. Carpets, tile and grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and even your air ducts. Before we get any deeper into summer, you can get 3 rooms Zeroresified and get 1 room free and $50 off air duct cleaning too. Zerorez means zero residue, and it's in the water they use. The unique ZR water uses no soap, no harsh chemicals, and leaves no residue, just healthy, fresh surfaces. Zerorez cleans our floors, and I'll tell you that it is simply amazing, and it works. But don't take my word for it. Just check out the 4,900 5-star Google reviews. Call now. Mention WIBC. When you get 3 rooms cleaned, you get 1 room for free and $50 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141 or ZerorezIndy.com.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Brett.
We did Galaxy for the sidewalks and also the porch. The porch had a few pits. Galaxy said that was no problem.
Home or business, Galaxy Concrete Coatings got you covered.
Obviously with the front sidewalk and step, so we didn't worry about any kind of slipping. You know, you're concerned about that after rain. And then when it did dry, it didn't spot, it didn't stain. It was just like it had been done yesterday.
Lots of styles to choose from, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
One thing that my wife commented on was how easy the Galaxy coating swept versus just the bare concrete.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
We moved here recently. I didn't even think twice about calling anyone else but Galaxy to come do this house.
Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Ha-ha! Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to grab your handy-dandy hazmat suit as we wade through the sludge of yet another week in news, beginning with self-flagellating liberal males emasculating themselves to protest the president. San Diego beaches are dealing with the smelly outflow of foreign floaters, and Zohran Mamdani shows his socialism is a thinly veiled march to total communism in short order. Hear this and more for another edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIPC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on The Circle, where I'm your host, Ethan Hatcher, and producer Jack at my side, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. If you haven't done so already, hop on the YouTube machine where we're broadcasting live and make sure to smash that like button. It helps the algorithm, helps the station, and helps this show immensely. And if we get to 50, producer Jack gets a pat on the head, a look of approval, and a Werther's Heart original candy from his grandmother. So, help us out there. We're beginning this week with a liberal man who decided that, in his show of protest against President Trump, he would wear lipstick. Interesting choice, producer Jack, but that was his decision.
Hello, it's the master. The reason I have red lipstick on is because I'm at the demonstration in Traverse City. There are thousands of us. And red lipstick, I was informed last night by my friend Jen, was a form of resistance when Hitler was trying to take over the world. He didn't like women wearing red lipstick. So I've decided red lipstick. Everybody put on red lipstick to show resistance against you-know-who. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Over and out.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
See, this is like that meme, producer Jack, starring the writer's thinly veiled fetish. I don't think this has anything to do with protesting the president. I think this more has to do with the fact that a lot of Democrats seem to get turned on by cross-dressing. You know, they want to do cross-dressing children's reading hours at the local library, and maybe this is some kind of offshooting of that. But I don't think it's going to be catching on, getting too many men to wear lipstick in protest of the president. But there you have it. Ridiculous stuff. Let's see. What else did I have on the agenda? This was, the beaches of San Diego, bright, sunny San Diego, a tourist destination for hundreds of thousands of Americans, now sullied by an influx of sewage. This described by Councilmember Jim Desmond, who says that 5 to 10 million gallons of poo are pouring in per day. Yuck.
Over Memorial Day weekend, the Hotel Del, which is a landmark in San Diego County, it's on every postcard for the city, its beaches were closed and are still closed. And it's the beginning of the beach season, of the summer season here in San Diego County. Our Navy SEALs and service members are getting sick because of the constant pollution in the waters. This is a threat to national security. The Imperial beaches have been closed continuously for 3 years, and their residents and businesses are suffering. And this is all because of the constant flow of sewage from Tijuana, and there shows no signs of stopping. Even with the treatment plant there's approximately 5 to 10 million gallons a day bypass the treatment plant and arrive into our country via the Tijuana River.
Literally 5 to 10 million gallons of poo pouring in from our southern border, sullying sunny American beaches. And yeah, I think something needs to be done about that in short order, because treatment plant ain't cutting it. Elsewhere, of course, July 4th celebrations, cause for patriotic pride in many Americans. Not so for Kamala Harris, who instead chose to deliver a speech decrying European colonizers as destructive invaders. Nice touch for a patriotic speech.
The United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it.
Shut up, silly woman. Elevated America, developed America, and dare I say, saved the lives of many Native Americans who otherwise would have been slaughtered in a senseless circular conflict that had been going around in this territory for hundreds of years. These weren't, peaceful individuals. They were conquering each other. They were invading each other's territories. And so this is part and parcel of what was going on. And you shouldn't feel ashamed for what happened in the far distant past. Thank God she is not the president of the United States. Of course, elsewhere in New York, you got incoming potential mayor Zohran Mamdani, who continues to show his hand, talking about incredibly radical policies, including plans to buy up private housing and turn them into public communes. Not making this stuff up.
Toward the Vienna model, we'll have to go beyond the market. We can establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market and convert it to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their landlords when buildings go up for sale. And we can fully commit to a new era of social housing, ending subsidies for luxury housing development and using our wealth to build beautiful, high-quality social housing projects that offer good homes and strong communities to everyone. We won't decommodify housing overnight, but we know what we have to do, and we have history to guide us.
No offense, but it sounds like some commie gobbledygook.
I mean, this guy is an out-and-out communist. I mean, he's already talking about opening up government-ran grocery stores in New York City, engaging in rent freezes, opening communes, and then also the most important plan and step to communism of all, seizing the means of production. This was in a conversation Zohran Mamdani had.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment.
I'd like an ice cream about this high. Okay, coming right up. What do I owe you? Nothing. It's for free. Free?
Watch out, New York City, because you've got a commie incoming, and I don't think you know what's in store if you actually go through with electing this radical. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. Of course, we know for the past few weeks, Michelle Obama has been engaging in a rather unsuccessful podcast because she is a particularly unlikable individual who continues to try and cast herself as this sympathetic victim, sympathetic figure and victim of society at large. This time she was lamenting with Julia Louis-Dreyfus the plight of the modern woman.
Women, we have so many landmines and barriers and don'ts and limitations. It's, you know, I mean, Craig, you're the guy at the table, but I think it's important for all guys listening, especially men raising daughters, to realize that difference. You know, and that thing that inadvertently, as you are loving and raising these beautiful girls, there's so many rules that make us small.
Baked in without our knowing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I wish I could, I mean, I remember people saying, oh, well, she's the female doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question? Sure, anything.
why don't you go back to your own house and stop bothering us?
I don't think that this ploy to garner sympathy for being the former First Lady of the United States is a very attractive look, and it's certainly not working. I mean, she was married to the most powerful individual in the free world, and as far as Julia Louis-Dreyfus is concerned, she was the co-star in the most popular comedy of the 1990s, Seinfeld. So I don't think she's doing too bad for herself either, and both of these individuals continue to, the only reason why they have any relevance at all is because they're coasting off of the success of their own personal lives in the past. Julia for the comedy and Michelle for being married to the president. One more clip I wanted to play before we got to cut to break. This coming from a local church right here in Indianapolis, who was saying that members of the LGBT community, the sodomites, should kill themselves.
There's nothing good to be proud about being a You ought to blow yourself in the back of the head. You're so disgusting.
That's Stephen Falco. He's inside the Fundamental Baptist Church and is speaking during Men's Preaching Night. The event was live streamed on their Facebook.
Got a bunch of that want to come around, walk on our streets, and demand our children, and we should look them in the eye and say, no, you're not going to have our children.
Falco continues to call for the death of the queer community. And following the sermon, I reached out to the church about his words. They told me that Falco is only calling for the death penalty and suicide for the actual sodomites or homosexuals. The Bible teaches that those people are worthy of death. They are supposed to be executed by the government.
Long ago, there were these two awful towns, Sodom, named after sodomy, and Gomorrah, which was named after an even weirder move. So
hey, I say live and let live, and as long as nobody's bothering you, then you shouldn't bother them either, and certainly never wish death upon others. That's a little unhinged. Stay tuned for more on 93 WIBC.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. Joining me now is really the head of the whole company. Lance thinks he's the boss, but it's really not. It's Jennifer. You're the proud mother of LD Smith Plumbing, whether you want the job or not. How much fun is it to see those 5-star reviews?
It is the best. We love to review those with the guys. To see their smiling faces and know that we have done such a good job in the field is just priceless. My goal is always to make their day a little bit easier. For any plumbing issue, it's ldsmithplumbing.com.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock, because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Are you ready to build your custom dream home? Joiner Homes is ready to make your dream come true. Over 18 years, Joiner Homes, based out of Greenfield, have built hundreds of homes in central Indiana. And the best place to start is joinerhomes.com. That's where you'll find pricing, photos of completed Joiner homes to inspire you, available home sites, and info on where you can visit their model homes, and a lot more. Be sure to check out Joiner Homes' 5-star Google reviews. Get started today at joinerhomes.com.
Stay on your home court with Franciscan Health's top-rated cardiac heart care. No traveling, no waiting. Just award-winning heart care right where you live. Rated #1 in Indiana 2 years in a row for cardiology and cardiac care by Health Grades, Franciscan Health offers first-in-the-world treatments, cutting-edge technology, and unmatched compassion, because we believe every heartbeat is extraordinary. Don't sit on the sidelines with heart trouble. Schedule a same-day cardiology appointment today at franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Think of it as WIBC on 2x speed. Big opinions, great moments, and just enough chaos. The WIBC Mashup Podcast brings it all together in one fast, fun listen. New episode each weekday. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. This is Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIBC.
Big changes coming in the world of Jehovah's Witnesses, producer Jack. We know we've discussed a few times in the past. Of course, I was raised in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. So this news interests me from time to time when I hear developments. And now, there's big stuff. Now, producer Jack, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they are allowed to toast their glasses. This, according to the governing body. Such a generous change.
Another example is toasting or clinking glasses. For years, Jehovah's Witnesses have avoided this practice because it may have had origins in false religion. However, now in most places, toasting or clinking glasses no longer has any religious association.
Ooh.
It is viewed simply as a friendly custom. Therefore, after prayerful consideration, the governing body has concluded that there is no need to make a rule regarding toasting and clinking glasses.
What do you know?
Each Christian should use the principles that we have discussed in this update and his own Bible-trained conscience to make a good decision.
I could not concentrate on what this old man was saying.
What do you think, producer Jack? Do Jehovah's Witnesses seem just a little bit strict? Consider you had to get permission to toast your glass?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit controlling. And of course, this is a fascinating glimpse into their psychosis because they had to double back in very short order. They had to make sure they covered their bases, not saying toasting is okay in all circumstances. Like if you toasting Satan, obviously don't do that.
Are we saying that toasting is okay now at all times and in every situation? Of course not. We are simply saying that there is no need to make a rule. Each Christian will need to use Bible principles to make a good decision in each instance. Since there are so many different situations that could arise in the 240 lands where Jehovah's people serve, what a blessing that Jehovah has given us these Bible principles.
Am I evil? Am I like an evil person? Oh my God. I mean, absolutely. Do I not tell you that enough? You are like the most evil guy I know, man.
Here's the most important part, producer Jack, because we're running out of time. If you start changing your tune, but you've claimed that your rules are not based on your opinion, they come from God, then you absolutely deserve every ounce of scrutiny. They have been willing to ruin people's lives over stuff like this, so they don't get to catch a break now just because all of a sudden they're loosening the restrictions and loosening their grip over individuals. No, it's not that easy. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. Hour 2 is on the way. Don't miss a moment. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
There sure are a lot of memories in that house. It's where you celebrated years of anniversaries and birthdays, where you watched the kids grow, where you relaxed in your retirement. You love it, right down to the scuff on the dining room floor and that sticky window in the bedroom. But now the stairs are getting harder, the lawn, the cleaning, the repairs, it's just too much to keep up. And you know it's probably time to downsize. But the thought of getting the house ready to sell is overwhelming. It's time to learn about Simple Quarters. They'll buy your house as is. No repairs, no worries. They handle everything. You take what you want, and you leave the rest. They're a Christian company, so they understand the emotional ties, and they'll be respectful of your memories and feelings as they help you simplify your life. If you're considering downsizing and want a hassle-free way to sell your home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME or go to simplequarters.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at seebeyondtheaddiction.org.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick. Destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Seminars July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
President Trump announces new 30% tariffs. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News, targeting goods from the European Union and Mexico beginning August 1st. Fox's Alexandria Hoff with the president in New Jersey has details.
President Trump revealed this plan on Truth Social today, where letters were shared to nations. That includes Mexico and the EU. Letter to Mexico reads in part, Mexico has been helping me secure the border, but what Mexico has done is not enough. Mexico still has not stopped the cartels who are trying to turn all of North America into a narco-trafficking playground. French President Emmanuel Macron expressed his disapproval over the 30% plan, writing, this announcement comes after weeks of intense engagement by the Commission in negotiations with the United States on the basis of a solid offer made in good faith.
In central Texas, more than 170 people are still missing after flash flooding swept through the area last week. Now there's the threat of more thunderstorms. Katie Byrne of Fox Weather is in Kerrville, Texas.
Night and day, crews are working. They're hiking through riverbanks, cutting away at piles of dense debris with cadaver dogs, and dive teams continue to search the water as they monitor rain in the forecast once again. Parts of the hill country are in a level 2 out of 4 flash flood threat tonight, as forecasters say it really would only take one thunderstorm to cause flooding in a region that's already so saturated. We spoke with search crews who say any incoming rain would be a setback. And we're learning more about the victims who have been found. A procession for 12-year-old Shiloh Wilson, a young rodeo competitor, just passed us as he makes his way home to the Houston area. His family says he will be buried there with his parents as they were in an RV park nearby that got swept away by this catastrophic flooding.
At least 120 people have died in the floods. The latest storms forecast to bring hail and damaging winds as well. Generous Fox viewers and listeners have helped raise $5 million to aid Central Texas communities. America's listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Janice Dean, Fox News senior meteorologist and host of the Janice Dean Podcast. Join me every Sunday as I focus on stories of hope and people who are truly rays of sunshine in their community and across the world. Be sure to subscribe to the Janice Dean Podcast at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to spread the sunshine.
America's listening to Fox News.
from the Fox News Podcasts Network.
This is Jason Chaffetz from the Jason in the House podcast. Join me every Monday to dive deeper into the latest political headlines and chat with remarkable guests to hear their take on American life, politics, and entertainment. And don't forget, there's always somebody doing something stupid somewhere.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com
or wherever you download podcasts.
Must listen to podcasts from Fox News Audio.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Losing a young girl to guns. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. A shooting on the north side of Indianapolis Friday afternoon leaves a little girl dead. IMPD officer Tommy Thompson says that girl was in a home with all kinds of guns around.
In this instance, they were unsecured in a manner that we just can't have little children handling firearms.
He believes she picked up at least one of the guns and used it on herself, which resulted in her death. All the guns in the home were seized and investigation continues. Investigators in Vigo County are determining the death of a man and his sister to be a murder-suicide. 59-year-old Keith Cheney and 63-year-old Kathy Cunning were both found dead in a residential area Wednesday. The Vigo County Sheriff's Office believes Cheney shot his sister before taking his own life. An Indianapolis City County councilor is facing allegations of sexual abuse. The woman, Lauren Embry, tells Wish TV that her and Democratic councilor Keith Graves were in a relationship between 2020 and 2022, and that she was abused on multiple occasions. Graves, in his own statement released this week, is denying the allegations, calling them alarming and false. He has since stepped down as leader of the Education Committee. And the warmer temperatures, with some days reaching 90 degrees, are continuing this month.
We've certainly had the heat wave in June, and it's been a warmer, hotter, and more humid summer than usual. So even with the severe threat, keep in mind, stay hydrated, stay cool, because it's going to be hot and humid out there.
Alex McGinnis with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says much of the state will be in the mid to high 80s all of next week, too. On Saturday, we saw brief severe weather for the first time in a while in some spots. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
After this drenching shower Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening should be mostly dry with a low temperature around 71 degrees. Winds out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday will be cloudy with a few chances for some scattered showers. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Aaron Sutis for 93 WIBC.
Quality Supply and Tool, your premier supplier of construction equipment, tools, and supplies, is looking for drivers to serve out of their Indianapolis location. They're currently accepting applications for both CDL and non-CDL drivers. Quality Supply and Tool offers competitive pay to qualified applicants. Please contact Brian Myers for more information at 317-690-2016. That's Brian Myers at Quality Supply and Tool, 317-690-2016. 317-690-2016.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC, the one and only Saturday Night on the Circle, where I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, and that's producer Jack. Beep, 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 on the board, pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. If you haven't done so already, hop on the YouTube machine and give the show a like. Helps the program, helps the station, and I appreciate it immensely. Also, check out my personal podcasting page, Saturday Night on the Circle.fireside.fm. That's where we upload the podcast, and you can follow me between Saturday shows on the Twitter machine at Ethan Hatcher to keep up with what we're posting through the week. This segment, of course, I wanted to discuss the other enormous disappointment we all lived through last week, in addition to the flip-flopping on the release of the Epstein files. We, of course, passed Trump's big, beautiful bill that ushered in another wave of spending increases that will further burden future generations. One of the big reasons why, Senator Rand Paul, he was a no. He stood by principle, as did Thomas Massie, against this big bullcrap bill.
Which brings us back to maybe we have to judge the effects of the big, not-so-beautiful bill by looking at what happens to the debt next year. Supporters of the bill admit it adds $270 billion to the debt next year. That's the only thing we know for certain. We don't know what happens in year 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, but we know next year this bill will grow the deficit by $270 billion. In addition, the bill increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. What does that mean? That is an admission that they know they aren't controlling the deficit. They know that the ensuing years will add trillions more. So we're adding $2 trillion this year, but they're anticipating, the authors of the bill anticipating adding more than $2 trillion next year. That doesn't sound at all conservative to me, and that's why I'm a no.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
He's absolutely right. We are not operating under the principles of fiscal conservatism when you are increasing the debt ceiling yet again and promising to add more than $5 trillion to the national debt, which is already exceedingly high, nearing $40 trillion and set to exceed $50 trillion by 2050. And the question remains, how much longer the American economy can continue to bear the burden of these expenses as even payments on interest for the debt continue to rise. You cannot grow your way economically out of these spending increases. And worse yet, inside the big bullcrap bill that Donald Trump passed and signed into law was included some of the reckless spending that Joe Biden incorporated, including continuing to fund health care for illegal immigrants. I don't know how Donald Trump can say with a straight face that this is a big or any kind of beautiful bill when it's continuing to fund the thing that he claims to oppose, federally paying for illegal immigrants' health care. And Chip Roy explained in great detail exactly how that's taking place, because, of course, it's already supposed to be illegal for federal dollars to pay for illegal immigrants' health care, but there's a workaround, you see, producer Jack, and this is what Chip Roy explained.
It is already unlawful for Medicaid to go to illegals, right? So you're not supposed to do it, but they backdoor into it, and we've got reports showing that millions get Medicaid. So what did we do? In the bill, there's a section, I can't remember the number, section 7.1, blah, 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 and it does tighten it some. It puts some teeth into it. CBO scores it as saving $5 or $6 billion. So Senator Schmidt is not wrong. There's language in there that makes it better. And we fought for that in the House, and then the Senate's got it. But the one thing we did in the House, and this is important, and it's a part of the Medicaid scam, right? You and all your viewers and all of us want to make sure the vulnerable for whom Medicaid was created, working class Americans, they get the ability to go get health care. But we don't want the able-bodied, the scammers, to get it. We don't want insurance companies and fat cats to get rich on the back of this program. So here's how it works. The fact is, you take some of that money, the state money, they'll go spend it on illegal aliens. They won't use the federal money, which they're prohibited from doing. They'll use their state money, but they'll still claim all of the provider tax dollars and the FMAP matching dollars and use that to fatten their coffers. So they end run the restrictions. In the House bill, we said you're going to lose your federal match if you continue to provide Medicaid to illegal aliens. And so, California, for example, the Senate stripped that out. They hid behind the parliamentarian, but they didn't fight hard enough to keep it in, and they didn't rework the language so that we can guarantee that those federal dollars don't flow to states that give money to illegal aliens. I hope that's clear.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Producer Jack, when Republicans are engaging in this level of mass deception, frankly, I'm done pretending that they're better than Democrats. When they are willing to fund the thing that they publicly claim to oppose and then disguise it in the veneer of extending tax cuts that we already achieved almost a decade ago in 2016, no. This isn't a big victory. It's certainly not cause for celebration, and it's the opposite of fiscal conservatism. And in many ways, it seems that Donald Trump has turned a complete about-face on his campaign promises. He's not reining in federal spending. He's continuing to fund illegal immigrants' health care. The bill also provided, had a small provision to continue paying for gender transition surgeries for individuals across the United States. And he's funding the forever wars in the Middle East and continuing to arm Ukraine. This is not what Donald Trump was elected for, and he needs to be called out on this bull crap. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Of course, you heard earlier Rand Paul making his principled stand against the big bullcrap bill. Also, Thomas Massie standing right alongside Americans, which is where the loyalty of congressmen and senators should be, not to the special interests that are driving driving the whole thing right now.
It's the same plot every fiscal year. What should we be doing? It's already been discussed. We should have done 12 separate bills. But again, whether Democrats are in control or Republicans are in control, we never do the 12 separate bills. Why do we always spend at least as much as we did last year, and why do we never cut spending? It's because Democrats want to grow the welfare state, and Republicans want to grow the military-industrial complex. And we're eventually going to get together, and they're both going to go up. I guarantee it.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new.
Yeah, well, I saw it on a rerun.
It's a rerun.
You'll find out.
It's time to ask ourselves how many times we're willing to be fooled by the same lies in the course of 3 decades, because Republicans are not living by the standards that they claim to represent. Small governments, fiscal conservatism, that's all gone out the window in the past 3 decades. And I'm starting to think that the Tea Party movement, the so-called Freedom Caucus, has all been one giant psyop, because it's more obvious now than ever before that the left wing and the right wing, they're just part of the same bloated bastard bird. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. There's one thing I wanted to play before we cut to the next break. This is a hilarious turn of events in Portland, Oregon, where an angry, liberal, overweight woman was outraged at the protests outside the ICE offices in her area because, of course, she can't go to sleep. It's hard to do that when you got a bunch of outraged, blue-haired liberals screaming at the top of their lungs at a megaphone in your neighborhood. And I totally sympathize with her. But you know what? You reap what you sow, and this is the same kind of lunacy that you've supported. Now you got to live with it, sister.
Turn that down! It's midnight! I will turn it down. I would love to. You just have to ask me, and I'm not being nice even though you're screaming at me. You! Okay. I'm coming back every night! I'm destroying and wrecking your shit! Turn it down! We the people need sleep! You heard what I said, bitch! Probably would be a hell of a lot better. Yourself! Yourself! Go yourself, bro.
Well. How the turntables.
Oh, truly, these people are too precious for words. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Coming up next, a conversation with Rob Kendall about the real estate market. Stay tuned for more.
It's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. You've been trying to stay cool during the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, that might be hard to do. If the summer heat is seeping into your home and your utility bills keep rising, your windows could be the culprit. Save yourself from another month of discomfort by replacing your windows today with Window Nation. Right now, you can get 50% off all windows, plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. You heard that right. When you choose Window Nation to replace your windows, you won't pay any interest until 2030. Details at windownation.com.
And did I mention they'll get the job
job done in 1 day or less. Their installation crews have over a decade of experience, so you can feel comfortable knowing your windows are installed right the first time. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to procrastinate another day if I found a window company this good. Do not miss out on Window Nation's biggest deal of the year. 50% off all window styles right now. And remember, that comes with zero interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Up to 100 times more potent than morphine, the tiniest amount of illegal fentanyl is all it takes to cause an overdose. Learn more at cdc.gov/overdose.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your host, Ethan Hatcher. Thanks for listening, and make sure to hop in the YouTube chat. We'll be broadcast live from 7 to 9 every Saturday night. We always have lots of fun and enjoy seeing your comments. This segment, I wanted to revisit a conversation I had with Jerry Lopez and Rob Kendall this Monday concerning regulations that are moving in on rental properties, restricting the number of units that can be owned in each neighborhood, and more importantly, what recourse you have to improve the quality of these properties in your neighborhoods, because I know that's a big complaint for a lot of people, and it's more complex than the issue would appear on the surface. And we talked about that this week.
Jerry, there's something that's going on throughout central Indiana communities, and it fascinates me.
I've heard a little bit about this, and it's actually happening in my home county.
That's right. So this is a story that kind of started in the spring, and it was communities beginning to put caps on the amount of rental properties they're allowing in the cities. So Fishers went first. Carmel followed after, which is where you're at. And now cities and towns across central Indiana are exploring doing this. And One of the rare times where I don't have a firm opinion. You own a home, you rent a home.
I'm renting. Okay,
yeah. So you're one of the problems.
I am the problem. In the words of Morgan Wallen, I am the problem.
Okay, so here's where I'm at with this, because I've been a home renter, also home owner, and on my street where I live, I can tell you which homes are rented and which ones are single
I can probably drive by your neighborhood and tell which ones are rented, which is the problem, right? Like, I rent, but I am a military service vet, so it's like I have certain standards of upkeep and things like that.
Sure.
But when the people move next door, it's a rental, and you're going, oh, no, they don't take care of the property. They're not cutting their grass. They're not.
So I balance that with the right of somebody to do with their property whatever they want. And so I think several of these cases are heading to court or will be heading to court. And so I thought, let's get some perspective on this. And we've actually got a guy. Got a guy for everything.
Got
a guy who he's a part of WIBC, but he makes his living renting homes. Ethan Hatcher.
Heyo.
Host of Saturday Night on the Circle. Ethan Hatcher, hello.
Happy to be here once again, Rob. Thanks for having me.
So you and I were shooting the breeze over the weekend, and I was asking you about your opinion on this, because you keep your properties. How many properties do you own?
I have 19 houses that are divided into just under 40 units.
So you're a mogul.
A small mogul, yes.
and they're primarily in the city of Indianapolis.
East side of Indianapolis.
Okay, and you, unlike some of these other rental moguls, you keep your properties very well maintained.
I do my best. We have been undergoing a series of improvements since I took ownership.
So I said you'd be the perfect guy to have this conversation with, because you're in the rental business. Let's start with, do the cities of Fishers and Carmel have any sort of case saying that we got to limit the amount of rentals because those people oftentimes aren't keeping their properties up, and our citizens are mad because they think it's devaluing their properties? They have a case on that.
It is born of a rational fear, but an excess of rental properties, which currently the cities of Fishers and Carmels do not have, is a symptom, not the cause of a larger problem. It is a symptom of when home ownership has become far too unaffordable in your community. There will always be rental properties. There will always be a market for them, for mobile tenants, for people who aren't necessarily tied to a city, whose jobs take them from place to place. For people like that and other individuals, rentals will always have a spot. But when you make home ownership so unaffordable and so difficult, especially for senior citizens to pass on their wealth to children, that's when you start seeing these problems.
Am I out of pocket here for like going under the assumption that maybe you just don't want people that can qualify for home ownership in your neighborhood? Is that a crazy thought that you just want people who can only survive on renting?
I think it has to do with the tax burden. I think it has to do with retention, because once you have entered into a neighborhood, presumably you have the finances to make that continue to be possible. But when the tax burden goes up over time, then you're taking the elderly people out of their homes and preventing generational wealth from accumulating. It's when it's those lifetime homeowners, people who pass down from grandparents to children their homes, that starts to build the community that I think Fishers and Carmel are trying to keep by putting this ordinance in. I disagree with the ordinance.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say was, this must be born out of something,
sure,
right? And it's, like I said, I'm not wed one way or another on this. I can see both sides of it. I do see my own street. When I was a boy, and look, I don't live on a home with $1 million houses, but it was when I was a kid. These houses were all built in the early 1980s. They're all brick houses. They're all, for the most part, ranch or Cape Cod style homes. And every house was different. Every house was unique, and they were owned by families. They were very well maintained. It was a nice street to live on. And I look at it now, and there are pockets of people, myself included, who still take pride in keeping their home looking nice. But I look at the rest of it and go, ooh, yeah, that's not good for, it's not good for the aesthetics of the neighborhood. It's not good for the safety of the neighborhood. And then I try to balance this out with the freedom and liberty side of myself and property rights, which is if you own the property, you should be able to sell to who you want to sell to.
When you
rent who you want to rent.
When you have rental property, there are corrective means that you can pursue to punish landlords who are not taking care of their property.
Tell me what those are, because I don't think your home looking like crap. It's a pretty high standard, right, to have an ordinance violate. That's the problem. Like it's
here's the issue, Rob.
Bad can look bad and still be legal.
Exactly. who you're dealing with primarily is like the Board of Health. I just got a lovely write-up from the Board of Health because one of my tenants was not mowing their grass properly. That's a relatively minor inconvenience. All I have to do is provide them a notice, cut the grass, de-weed around the property, and they'll be fine. But it can escalate from there. There can be more complex problems. But that has to be remedied after the fact. And there's the issue. If you want to, on the forward end, take care of this problem, the two issues at hand are permanence and pride. If people don't believe to a reasonable expectation that they're going to continue living in their property for a long period of time, why would you ever do landscaping? Why would you ever do manicuring? Why would you ever do any of the nice little things on the exterior of the property that long-term property owners do? And then the other thing is community pride. Community pride has utterly evaporated, and that's a cultural question. People, instead of taking pride in their communities, often feel ashamed of their communities. Look at how many posts, I'm sure Jerry saw lots of them, on 4th of July where people say, I don't feel proud to be an American today. That bleeds into how your outlook bleeds into how you take care and how you approach all aspects of your life. If you don't take pride in the community, then why would you ever maintain it?
Ethan Hatcher is our guest. He's the host of Saturday Night on the Circle. He's also a real estate mogul, and we're talking about these ordinances that are popping up across central Indiana. I think some of them are headed to court or in court about Fishers, Carmel, etc.
Are these homeowners that are suing?
Well, no, I think it's these organizations. Like you're probably part of some Renters United,
the Indiana Property Rights Alliance.
Thank you. Some property empire or something. I don't know. I don't know if they actually are headed to court yet, or they're just threatening or whatever. But I mean, it's clear it's going to start. It's going to start happening more and more. Is my issue that I want people to love my street as much as I do, and I want people to love the community as much as I do, and you can't legislate that? Is that ultimately what I'm upset about?
Yes, it's a cultural problem because that's what fixes the issue on the front end. Everything else is a corrective measure after the fact. And so what you have to do is inspire pride first.
Well, you're invested. You signed your mortgage. You're like, we're here for 15, we're here for 30, and I'm there for a 1-year rental. So what, you hope that you have that pride and you take care of stuff?
Yeah, you say that, Jerry, but it's like, okay, so I've rented multiple houses over the years. I've never actually lived in an apartment. How about that?
That's crazy.
I've never actually lived in an apartment. Every place I've rented has either been a duplex or a house. And what I found was I rented a house before the house I live in now that had a local landlord. He literally lived around the corner from me. And the difference in his willingness to maintain the property versus when I have lived in a house that was owned by a corporation, night and day. Yes, not even close.
When you're talking about particularly derelict serial offenders in the state of Indiana, a lot of those are coming from out-of-state investors because it's so difficult to serve the notice. You have to serve notice in order to correct the problems, and these people intentionally create a Byzantine layer of corporate shells to distance themselves from responsibility. So another way that you can kind of prevent that problem is by promoting local ownership. Again, it's by tying people to their communities.
Yeah.
I'm going to care much more about my properties on the east side because I live there and I want my community to improve versus an out-of-state Chinese investor who's looking to get rich off the Indiana market.
Here's what I want. I want the grass to be cut. I want the people that have the Ardennes forest in their backyard to cut the stuff down. I want the weeds maintained, and if you got broken fences, I want that I'm talking chunks missing.
Yeah. Don't throw trash in the yard. If there's trash in your yard, pick it up.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, put your trash cans in within 3 days of the trash guy.
Yeah,
right?
we accomplished nothing here, but I felt like this was a good radio segment.
I'd be starting in your case with a Board of Health complaint, Rob. That sounds like a good place to begin.
Yeah, the government doesn't want to hear from me. They know exactly.
But once again, here's the government telling you what you can do with the house that you own.
Yeah. All right, Ethan Hatcher, you're the best. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, July 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 2nd at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You love the summer in Indy, so don't ruin it painting. Do what Judy did. She called Rhino Shield.
The house that Rhino Shield did for my husband and I, after having the house painted with kind of usual house paint, I was seeing cracks appearing about every 3 years and just wasn't very satisfied with that.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating specifically formulated for our unique climate.
I can't speak highly enough about the Rhino Shield crew. They also were great at working with me to get the exact right color because I was very particular.
Indy, you can get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
I would not hesitate to call Rhino Shield, and I am just thrilled to recommend Rhino Shield to my friends and neighbors and family.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. The remains of 3 more victims found after last week's Texas floods.
Those search and recovery efforts still very much ongoing. We learned that search teams have now recovered the remains of 2 8-year-old girls and a counselor from Camp Mystic.
Fox's Garrett Tenney, more than 170 people are still missing. A preliminary report today on last month's Air India crash just after takeoffs, and it's disturbing. Fox's Stephanie Bennett.
It appears fuel to the plane was cut off moments before that crash. Now, the report did not say how the switches could have flipped. One of the engines was able to be restarted, but the plane could not gain power quickly enough.
The report also cites pilot confusion. America is listening to Fox News.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us, 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace through strength.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's National Carpet Cleaning Month, and Zero Res is celebrating. Get 3 rooms Zero Resified and get 1 room free and $50 off air duct cleaning too. ZeroResIndy.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
Who's the slimiest rat in the pack? Who's unlovable? Who's unlivable? Whose behavior is quite unforgivable? Who would stoop to the lowest and meanest of tricks in the book?
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher. My podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. Plus, we're always streaming live on the YouTube machine 7 to 9 every Saturday night, so hop in the chat and join the fun. In a bigger betrayal than Benedict Arnold, the famous American traitor, now Donald Trump has totally flipped on releasing the infamous Epstein files. According to the latest memo from the Department of Justice, no Epstein files exist, no blackmail took place, no video files were uncovered, and more than 1,000 young girls were sex trafficked to nobody in particular. Currently, the president is encouraging everyone to move on from Jeffrey Epstein and let the memory of the largest sex abuse scandal in United States history simply fade away into the darkness. For one man, though, justice is a more important imperative than the security of international pedophiles being protected by our government, and that man is producer Carl, who joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
Deep beneath the streets of Indianapolis, located in a secure broadcasting bunker, concrete encased and lead-lined, away from the prying eyes of government conspirators and deep state operatives, we bring you once again producer Carl. So tell us, what do you make of the fact that our government is apparently run by a bunch of pedophiles?
Well, first of all, it's not Benedict Arnold, it's Benedict Donald.
Indeed.
So there is a conspiracy theory out there. It's not mine, but he sounds like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the information that you need to know about.
Oh, your favorite guy, Alex Jones, of course.
And according to Alex, you don't understand, this is 4D chess. That Donald now has the files, and now he can use the leverage against the deep state to basically get his way and to push through the reforms.
No, Carl, that's desperate. That's rationalization. I saw the gut reaction from Alex Jones where he was weeping, where he was red in the face, where he was absolutely distraught at the absolute betrayal of trust that the president has now embarked upon. And I think he is desperately searching for any kind of rationalization to excuse this, but there simply isn't any. But we'll go ahead and say, sure, yeah, it's just
I love
4D chess.
Yeah, you know I love Alex, so it hurts me so when he comes up for an excuse. He carries the water for Donald Trump every single time. Alex Jones, let's remember that Alex Jones and the people that a lot of people that listen to Alex Jones were also listening to QAnon. And QAnon basically said, trust the plan. And this is another just trust the plan. You know, that Donald's got this. He's going to clean it up. He's going to go after the deep state.
Was this really part of the plan, though? Because, let's see, Epstein killed himself all the way back in middle of 2019.
He didn't
and
kill
Donald
himself.
Trump, right, exactly. Didn't kill himself, but, he was murdered. He was unalived, let's say, in summer of 2019. What was that, July, August, something like that. Middle of the year. And Donald Trump was still president for more than a year after that. And we never got any release of the Epstein files then. It certainly wasn't going to have to happen under Biden. And he said, and Kash Patel said, and Dan Bongino said, and Pam Bondi said it was on her desk. And all these people said that they were going to be releasing the Epstein files. And then now, zip, zero, zilch, nada. Apparently, they don't even exist. This is a ridiculous farce, producer Carl.
Yep.
I mean, this is a segment ripe for Conspiracy Corner, because what the F is going on in our government, and what must those files contain that has got all these people to zip their lip? What's happening, producer Carl? Is it like the deep state of the CIA? They slide a photograph across the counter and say, "Oh yeah, you can release those files if you want, but it sure would be a shame if something might happen to your family."
Well, first
we can't say what, but something just might.
First of all, Pam Bondi responded to the "I have the files on my desk." She said, "I have the files on my desk to review."
Right.
And I guess she found nothing upon that review.
Yeah. It all mysteriously disappeared. Of course, Alan Dershowitz, he's saying that he knows the names. He knows the identities of some of these people.
Them, right?
Right. He knows some of the identities of the people that were involved. He's not saying because of confidentiality reasons, which is a bunch of BS.
Yeah, Dershowitz was one of his attorneys that defended him in Florida. I'm pretty sure.
So of course he knows.
Well, of course he was on the plane to Lolita Island because he was his attorney.
When you got former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, making dozens of these flights, and apparently they logged the flights, but they didn't log what was going on in the trips.
Okay, well, so
it's not even a good lie.
I put out what Alex Jones said because this is Conspiracy Corner, and we are going to go with all the conspiracies. Also, by the way, another conspiracy out there is that Epstein didn't kill himself; he's alive.
Oh, now that's a conspiracy.
He's still a living asset.
Is he roommates with Elvis?
Well, it seems like a stretch, but remember when Enron went down? The CEO, I think his name was Skilling, the CEO was convicted, and right before he was sentenced to jail, he just died.
It was Bat Boy. He dug a tunnel to the jail cell and then swapped Epstein with a clone.
So Epstein is still an asset of the United States. I'm going to put that out there because a lot of the alt-right people say he's a Mossad agent.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
He is an agent of the United States to keep our politicians and people in power in check.
Well, you've got people like Tucker Carlson who are just short of trying to draw a direct line between the visit of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the United States and Donald Trump's White House, and then this apparent turn of face on the release of the Epstein files.
It's really unfortunate because, as we discussed in our last episode, the United States has just as much interest in Israel being there as Israel.
So you don't buy it? You don't think this is a giant Jewish plot?
No.
Thank goodness.
No. I believe that the United States and its intelligence agencies have been using Epstein and others to blackmail people that are easily blackmailed. I mean, look at the people in power and their suspicious backgrounds.
I think one of those people might be Donald Trump. He's been palling around with Epstein. He's got photos with Epstein, and they say, oh, well, that's just a coincidence. Powerful people like Epstein try and rub shoulders with influential figures like Donald Trump all the time. It doesn't necessarily draw a connection, but then here you have an apparent complete 180 from the President of the United States regarding what was in the content there, and it certainly invites some questions. I would say so.
If Donald has nothing to do with Epstein in terms of like going to Lolita Island, him just trying to brush this off, nothing to see here, doesn't help his cause.
And it certainly adds some context to just a few weeks ago when Elon Musk said, guess who was in the Epstein files?
Exactly.
That Donald Trump posted that. Of course, he took it down.
So I have some audio for you that I think is really what's going on.
Blackmail plays an integral role, and I've been at this for 21 years, and Epstein had cameras in all of his homes. I mean, Epstein was definitely a blackmail artist. And the government wants to make sure that does not come out, that a huge part of our political system is predicated on blackmail. And especially if that dark, malignant corner of the intelligence that is using blackmail against our politicians and other people, if they were using children, I mean, that would make the American people erupt. So that's why that Wikipedia page is locked down. And that's why this is important. This is, for that dark corner of intelligence, this is Omaha Beach. They're not going to give an inch, because this is the last thing that they want out. And it's amazing how the Epstein scandal has been covered up. If you look at all the victims and all the perpetrators and all the procurers involved in the Epstein network, I mean, we're talking and the people that facilitated it, like the pilots and like Epstein's house managers and the cooks and everybody else. We're talking scores and scores of people, and no one's been indicted except for Ghislaine Maxwell. And that really shows that our government, unfortunately, wants to stop it there. Our government does not, I mean, although Americans do, I think, are coming around to the belief that Epstein is taking part in blackmail, or a lot of them, it doesn't make sense. Why is our government aiding and abetting child trafficking? Unless they're protecting some very powerful people and a political process, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that it makes sense.
That's the only conclusion I think reasonable people can draw by this apparent flip, is that you are protecting the absolute tippy top of the upper echelon of deep state government officials.
Yeah, and he says right there, that's journalist Nick Bryant that was talking. He says right there, it's like, we can't reveal that this is actually how our government runs, by blackmailing people to get legislation through. Well, yeah, you and I both agree that sure you can.
Truth is the imperative here. Protecting these victims is the imperative here. Making sure.
But the people in power who want to get their agenda through don't want this out, because then their stuff goes away. Much like here in
probably very evil stuff that should go away.
I mean, it's not comparable. I mean, I don't know. But here in the state of Indiana, boy, it just seems like all the people in power seem to protect the, people that are involved in shady business, and it's like nobody wants to speak out about it because, well, if I revealed this, then they're going to reveal stuff about me. And so this is how they can keep all of the shadiness together.
And what they're ultimately guarding, and since you touched on, of course, the situation that's unfolding with corrupt government officials here in the state of Indiana, whether it's Republicans or whether it's Democrats, what they prize most is protecting this circular distribution of cash between them, the government officials, and between the behind-the-scenes corporate benefactors that often sponsor them. And that's what's going on here. And it crosses party lines. Money corrupts, power corrupts, and both corrupt absolutely.
It's one big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah, to quote the famous late, great George Carlin, but he was absolutely right. Thanks for another conversation on Carl's Conspiracy Corner, my friend.
Thank you very much, Ethan. We will talk again next week.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. We've got more on the way.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coating and their transformation, like your neighbor Mike.
Well, the local company that we used first was highly recommended by people in our neighborhood. We did not know until after it didn't work on our floor. It just healed up like a cheap suit. And so my wife says, we got to do something. And so she started looking around on the internet, and she found Galaxy.
Lots of styles to choose from, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
We got Galaxy out here. They got here at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and they finished up at 6 o'clock that night. Other than having a beautiful garage floor, you couldn't tell they were here. Just did a wonderful job on it.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
Still looks fantastic, and anybody that visits our house, that's all they want to talk about. I mean, they just can't believe how nice the garage floor looks.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
It's now open. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg, right in front of Premier Arms on Green Street. You got to see the selection. Newly expanded, the gold, the diamonds, the silver, the gemstones, the local artists, and of course, that watch collection. Guys, you got to trust me on this one right here. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg, 317-456-4010. That's 456-4010. Or find them online at pajewelers.jewelry. That's pajewelers.jewelry.
Hey, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing. Lance Smith joins me right now. No, we're not related, but I'd be proud to call him my son, my uncle, my cousin, whatever. Lance, welcome to the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, sump pumps, they're coming up. You guys, it's probably time to get your sump pump special. You brag on this every year.
Yep, it's a real deal. Free primary sump pump with the purchase of a battery backup system. Simple as that. No hidden labor fees or anything like that. 317-927-7186 or ldsmithplumbing.com.
Eli Otero was born with a rare genetic disorder that began to cause his liver to fail. But because someone just like you said yes to being an organ donor, Eli received a life-saving transplant.
We got the call, and it was the greatest day of our life.
When I woke up with the new liver, I felt good. I get to play football. I get to ride a bike. I get to do all this amazing stuff that makes me happy.
Say yes to becoming an organ and tissue donor.
It's the ultimate gift.
Learn more and sign up today at DonateLifeIndiana.org.
It saves lives. It saved his life. It saved our life.
The news everyone's talking about. You'll find it at WIBC.com. The latest from City Hall, the White House, or the State House. Updated all day. Don't miss what matters. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC and WIBC.com. Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC, final segment of Saturday Night on the Circle, where unfortunately, although they haven't died completely, it's safe to say that American arcades have been on life support now for a couple years, but they may be seeing a renaissance of sorts and a revival. Producer Jack, you're a couple years younger than me. Were you a fan of going to the arcades when you were younger? To me, that took the form of like Chuck E. Cheese or the Putt-Putt.
Yeah, I remember like going to Laser Flash a lot as a kid.
Yeah, hitting up some of the, especially those old classic arcade machines, the Star Wars game from 1998, I think it was, or old copies of Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, good stuff.
Yep.
Now it would seem that, of course, we've had Dave and Buster's at our disposal for a few years, and they're kind of the adult arcade that's been around. But it seems Chuck E. Cheese is now seeking to edge in on the adult arcade market. They are starting their own Chuck's Arcade, and they've already launched 10 pilot locations around the United States, including one that's in Florida. All of them are different right now because they're probably trying to hone in on a vibe, on a feel. But how would you feel about that, Producer Jack? If a Chuck's Arcade were to appear here in the city of Indianapolis, you think you're a customer?
Probably not, considering I don't go to like a Dave and Buster's.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hey, I'd like to pal around for a couple hours with beer, pull up to a few old arcades, especially vintage pinball machines. I think pinball machines are really primo stuff. Yeah. The old mechanical things. But to see a revival of that, I think would be great. I'm not sure Chuck E. Cheese is the appropriate venue. They kind of have a reputation for being low quality and also attract a rather rowdy crowd, if you know what I mean. Maybe that would be different for the adult arcade-themed version. You never know. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. One thing I wanted to play before we end the show this evening, a Green Day concert that was interrupted or disrupted by a mischievous fan. Billy Armstrong, as is tradition, invited one of the concert goers up on stage with him to perform a duet for the final song. And he was supposed to play one of Green Day's songs when he switched it up, and Producer Jack, he did the meme. Anyway, folks, here's Wonderwall.
Okay, D minor. You told me you could play this one. Nice try.
That song has been the punchline for egomaniacal guitar fiends for years now. Oasis, Wonderwall, so ubiquitous. I don't think they've played it in person for quite a while, and so it's hilarious for that guy to troll Billy Armstrong on his own concert stage by playing an Oasis song. That is great stuff, Producer Jack. If you ever got the opportunity, would you mess with Rockstar like that?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Just because they have to
you
deal
seem a
with
little
lot.
meek. A little meek for that. But I mean, man, good for him, because what a fantastic opportunity to take advantage of the moment that's been handed to you. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's all the time I got, ladies and gentlemen. It's been another fantastic week, and I will return next time, hopefully, with better things to talk about and happier news to share. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. I leave you with my parting words of wisdom. As always, wherever you are, whoever you're with, and whatever you're doing, remember that life is a state of mind. See you next time.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.